Welcome to Deep Sleep Stories. My name is Matt. On YouTube, we post just one new story each week, but on our podcast, you'll find several fresh episodes released throughout the week. You can listen to us on all major platforms, including Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Audible, Pandora, and more, all completely ad-free. Just look us up under the same name, Deep Sleep Stories, and enjoy. Now, take a deep breath, and let's begin tonight's story.
Welcome to Deep Sleep Stories. As you settle into a comfortable position, allow the gentle hush of evening to envelop your senses. You've chosen this time to find rest, to let your worries drift like clouds across a moonlit sky. Perhaps your muscles are already easing, the day's tension slipping away. In this tranquil space, imagine yourself drawn into a tale of ancient stone pathways and soft lantern light set in the hidden caves of Matera, Italy. With each slow breath, you can sense the warmth of a distant glow beckoning you closer, calling you to explore an ageless realm where whispered echoes guide you gently toward stillness. There's no urgency here, no pressing demands. This is a moment to sink deeper into relaxation, to let your thoughts soften at the edges until they feel as light as feathers. Breathe in calm and exhale any lingering restlessness. This story will be your companion through the quiet hours ahead, offering a peaceful drift into slumber. Now close your eyes if you wish, or let them rest half-lidded, and prepare to venture into a place where soft lights glimmer against old stone walls and the hush of centuries resonates in every passageway. Let your breathing deepen, your shoulders relax. Feel the gentle weight of the bed or chair beneath you, supporting you as you let go. Slowly, softly, your mind begins to wander, and our story unfolds. Long ago, or perhaps merely a handful of nights past, the ancient city of Matera seemed to wait under the tender glow of a waxing moon. Nightfall had woven a tapestry of gentle hush over every winding lane and dimly lit stair. No voice disturbed the thick silence of the Sassi, those ancient cave dwellings carved long ago into the porous rock where mysteries slept behind every corner. Down a quiet path, soft golden lanterns adorned the walls, their flames flickering like tiny beacons in a vast sea of night. Each faint glow illuminated the stones around it, revealing the subtle textures of centuries etched into the pale limestone. Time had weathered these cliffs, smoothing some parts while leaving others deeply grooved. The effect was gentle, an old, comforting presence, as though the city itself breathed in tandem with the slow pace of evening. The figure who wandered here now walked in a measured, unhurried step. Wrapped in a lightweight cloak against the evening's slight chill, they carried a small lantern of their own, cradled at chest level, as if it were the most precious source of comfort. This person's eyes moved from one carved wall to the next, from one shadow to the following patch of moonlight, quietly attuning to Matera's rhythmic stillness. Soft footfalls carried them deeper into the labyrinth, guided by an intuition that whispered of hidden marvels waiting to be seen. Overhead, a vast stretch of sky glimmered with pale stars that peered down gently on the winding rooftops. Though no breeze disturbed the scene, the silent interplay of light and shadow gave the city a life of its own. Some corners glowed warmly beneath hanging lanterns, while others nestled into the night's velvet darkness, exhaling a quiet invitation to step closer, past archways and into recessed doorways. The hush was such that a single breath might have seemed loud. Matera's history pulsed like a heartbeat beneath each layer of rock and clay. Generations had called this place home, shaping and reshaping the caves until they became dwellings of humble comfort. Yet despite the human touch, the ancient essence remained strong, as though the stones themselves bore living memories of time. In this nocturnal stillness, the visitor felt the profound age of the city gently pressing in, not as a weight, but as a guiding presence, an elder's warm hand leading them onward. Descending a short flight of limestone steps, the traveler found a narrow alley. Echoes of footsteps bounced off the low-slung walls, returning in soft, almost musical patterns. Small lanterns lined the path, each one perched on an iron hook that had likely seen countless seasons. Now they shimmered like stars, fallen to earth, revealing curving walls and rustic doorways. Tiny droplets of condensation traced glittering paths across the stone, as though the city itself wept tears of contentment and memory. At the alley's end, the pathway opened into a modest courtyard with an ancient well at its center. Set near the well, a weathered bench sat in quiet invitation. The traveler, feeling the subtle beckoning of that space, paused to rest. There was a sense of timelessness here, with the well's circular stone rim showing worn edges smoothed by many hands, drawing water across centuries. Above, the moon illuminated the courtyard, its light shimmering across the well's surface, reflecting a pale, ghostly ripple. A hush enveloped the traveler. The surrounding buildings seemed to lean in, curious to eavesdrop on the hush of a lingering night. Yet the night offered no secrets, only the soft hum of tranquility. The traveler's lantern, set gently on the ground, cast a warm glow across the worn stones, harmonizing with the quiet brilliance of the moon. Time slipped away as memory and present merged into one. The traveler's gaze drifted up, studying the ancient stone facades. Windows with wooden shutters remained closed, yet one could imagine the centuries of life inside. Soft lullabies, hushed conversations, the hush of new births, and the tender last words of those who lived before. A soothing presence dwelled in every stone, an unspoken reassurance that all was as it should be, that every step here was part of an ageless dance. Standing once more, the traveler lifted the lantern and continued onward. Another flight of steps spiraled downward, hugging the side of the rocky slope. The city's design, so organic and intertwined, created a mesmerizing pattern of levels and terraces, all connected by winding staircases that led deeper into the maternal bosom of stone. At times, the traveler had to navigate slender walkways, each step guided by the soft flicker of flame. One passage opened onto a small terrace overlooking the silent ravine below. The traveler paused at the stone railing, allowing themselves to sense the gentle hush that drifted up from the dark valley. The mild scent of herbs, perhaps wild rosemary or thyme, faintly perfumed the night air. Far in the distance, the soft outline of hills glowed silver under moonlight. Though the valley was quiet and still, it felt alive in its own secret language, the breathing hush of a landscape that had witnessed countless seasons of growth and renewal. Drawn by the unwavering sense that more lay hidden beyond, the traveler moved on. They passed a modest chapel carved partly into the rock, its wooden door slightly ajar. Inside, candlelight flickered, illuminating a single row of wooden benches and a small altar. A hush of reverence enveloped the space, so the traveler merely paused at the threshold, letting the gentle warmth of faith, whatever its form, ease their heart. The hush of the place, tinged with a soft incense scent, seemed to bless the wanderer's journey. Resuming the path, the traveler arrived at an ancient archway half buried in the hillside. Stone steps led down into a dim corridor, the kind that might have been used as a shelter or storage room centuries ago. Approaching carefully, the traveler lifted the lantern to reveal walls covered in faint, faded markings, symbols, perhaps from an era long gone, swirling lines echoing the shape of water or wind, and a few words whose meaning had slipped away into time's gentle forgetfulness. The traveler touched the rough surface and felt the slightest vibration, as though the old stones hummed with the memory of their creator's hands. Venturing further, the corridor opened into a spacious cavern, softly illuminated by a series of lanterns perched on ledges. A mild draft carried echoes of dripping water, the gentle plink-plink guiding the wanderer deeper. It was a living sound, a small underground river or channel beneath the city's ancient foundation. The air within was cool and moist, tinged with the scent of damp earth and minerals. This hidden space seemed to exist outside of time, a serene underworld that quietly supported the city above. In one corner, a circle of low stone seats surrounded a reflective pool. The water's surface glistened with each flutter of a lantern's flame, creating dancing lights along the rough ceiling. Approaching the water, the traveler peered into it, seeing their reflection softly distorted by the ripples. There was something mesmerizing about gazing down, as if the reflections carried glimpses of older, deeper truths. Shadows shifted, and the traveler's expression floated between dream and reality. Pausing to rest on one of the stone seats, the traveler let a sense of peace settle around them, feeling the subterranean hush cradle every breath. The city's life above seemed distant, as though this were a separate realm entirely, designed for quiet revelations. Each droplet that fell into the water resonated like a gentle chime. Perhaps in another time people gathered here to share stories in hushed voices, letting the echo of each word swirl around the stone walls. One could almost imagine a chorus of ancestors whispering lullabies that lingered in the cavern's memory. After a time, the traveler rose, continuing onward through a low-slung tunnel that led out of the main cavern. The lantern's glow revealed uneven ground, and in a few spots, the walls narrowed so that even a single person had to pass carefully. The sense of quiet adventure stayed constant, a calm curiosity beckoning the traveler forward. Each breath was taken slowly, each step measured. There was no rush, no urgency, just the gentle unraveling of night. Eventually, the passage ended in another open space where moonlight spilled through a gap in the rock overhead. The traveler glanced upward and saw a circle of sky that framed a few bright stars. Stepping into this patch of silver radiance, the visitor felt the soft glow envelop them, a silent blessing from the sky. This hidden clearing, half cave and half courtyard, contained a simple stone table surrounded by uneven pillars. Long ago, perhaps, it had served as a meeting place or a secret refuge. The traveler imagined quiet gatherings, the murmur of friendly voices sharing food and tales, accompanied only by the rustle of nighttime breezes. From this clearing, a set of narrow steps curved upward, carved so meticulously into the stone that they seemed part of the natural formation. Taking them carefully, the traveler ascended, emerging gradually into a more open area of the city. The hush remained, but now the faint outlines of rooftops rose around them. Here the dwellings were a bit more defined. Some had small courtyards with tiny gardens, a reminder that people had long lived in harmony with the rock. Little pots of flowers perched on windowsills, leaves glistening in the moon's tender light, as though they too were quietly celebrating the enchantment of the night. Through narrow streets and gentle turns, the traveler's path meandered to a small piazza with a graceful overlook. The moment they stepped onto the platform, an awe-inspiring panorama greeted them. Matera spread out below, the Sassi lit by a tapestry of lanterns and the faint glow from occasional windows. The city's stone structures clung to the hillside, some built on top of cave dwellings, others carved within. From here, the traveler could see the layered effect, the labyrinthine complexity that had earned Matera its timeless mystique. The hush of the night mingled with a mild breeze, carrying a hint of river water from the gorge below. Each lantern's flame danced in subtle, fluttering movements, and the combined effect resembled a shimmering sea of golden points. It was as if Matera was wearing a robe woven from starlight and earth's gentle warmth. The traveler stood silently, letting the wonder seep into every sense. Here was a testament to centuries of coexistence between humanity and nature. The stones were shaped by hand, yet they shaped the people in return, forging a profound unity with the land. While gazing at the city, the traveler felt a wave of serenity, as though the day had given itself over entirely to the realm of dreams. In the hush, Matera's essence breathed softly, an old teacher content to share its wisdom through stillness rather than words. A soft voice in the traveler's heart urged them to go on, to follow the winding steps until they reached a place of deeper quiet, a place where the faint echoes of distant history might resonate with clarity. And so, stepping away from the overlook, the traveler entered another cluster of buildings connected by an arched walkway. At one turn, they discovered a small alcove with a bench sheltered by an overhanging rock. The bench was soft with age, its wood worn smooth. Above, a single lantern swayed from a metal chain. Its warm glow beckoned the traveler to pause again, to rest in the hush. The traveler sat, placing the lantern at their feet, letting their gaze wander over the worn cobblestones. In that golden circle of light, the hush deepened, as if the rest of the world dissolved into the night beyond. Dreamlike impressions fluttered on the edge of awareness. The gentle laughter of children who once played on these streets, the shuffle of footsteps from merchants delivering wares, the low calls of shepherds guiding their flocks into the ravine. All these echoes drifted in the hush, faint traces of life's tapestry woven into the layers of stone. The traveler closed their eyes for a moment, feeling the breath of the city in each inhalation, and let the hush speak in a silent language. When the traveler opened their eyes, they noticed a narrow path sloping down to a secluded quarter. Curious, they followed it. The path ended at a low doorway, partially hidden behind a vine-laden trellis. A wooden sign, almost too faded to read, hung overhead, perhaps once advertising a small shop or a workshop. Leaning in, the traveler gently pushed the door open and found a modest chamber beyond. The walls had shelves carved directly into the rock, now empty save for a few dust-coated pottery fragments. The air smelled of history, an old dryness tinged with the memory of craftsmen's hands, shaping clay or stone in pursuit of simple artistry. Stepping inside, the traveler set the lantern on a ledge. Its soft glow revealed more faded symbols on the far wall, similar to the ones seen earlier. Perhaps there had been a tradition of marking certain spaces with protective signs or blessings for good fortune. The visitor traced a fingertip across the etched lines, feeling the story it hinted at, of resilience, of skill, of a people who thrived even in the starkness of rock and earth. Here, in the hush of this abandoned workshop, there was a sense that every chipped fragment held a piece of someone's dream. Even in that quiet, one could sense echoes of purpose. Lingering for a while, the traveler let thoughts drift in this secret room. Then gently, they gathered their lantern and stepped back outside, closing the door with care. The vines rustled softly as though returning to their guardianship of the doorway. The traveler inhaled deeply, the night air fresh on their skin, and continued deeper along Matera's winding arteries. Up another staircase turning through a narrow arch, they came upon a small courtyard framed by gently curving walls. At the center of this courtyard stood a single olive tree, its leaves shimmering in the moonlight. The traveler approached it with quiet reverence. Olive trees were known for their resilience, for the longevity hidden in their twisting trunks. This one, anchored in the stone courtyard, seemed to thrive despite the sparse soil. Perhaps its roots found hidden nourishment in ancient cracks beneath the cobblestones. Standing beneath the tree's bowed branches, the traveler felt a quiet kinship with all who had passed here before, pausing, resting, reflecting. The hush in that courtyard was profound. No voices, no footsteps disturbed the moment. Only the traveler's breath and the silent conversation of moonbeams through silvery leaves. With a soft rustle, a breeze drifted across the courtyard, teasing the lantern's flame until it fluttered briefly, casting dancing shadows along the ground. The traveler closed their eyes again, letting the faint breeze carry away any lingering tension. If one listened closely, there was a subtle melody in that hush, a cosmic lullaby sung by the interplay of wind, leaves, and time-worn stone. The traveler's heartbeat slowed in gentle harmony, as though lulled by an ancient cradle of maternal earth. When they eventually moved on, it was with the same unhurried pace. Every step felt lighter, as if each footfall was cushioned by the hush that wrapped itself around the city. Navigating through another stretch of moonlit lanes, the traveler observed soft arches, silent balconies, and old wooden doors. A few windows glowed from within, telling of people still awake, perhaps sharing late-night stories or finishing quiet tasks. But outwardly, Matera remained silent, as though hushed by a secret enchantment that only the night could weave. After a time, the traveler reached a long, gently sloping staircase that led to a different quarter of the Sassi. These steps ran alongside a ridge that overlooked a deeper gorge. An occasional torch or lantern highlighted the path, guiding the way with friendly flickers. The traveler could feel the subtle hum of water far below, winding through the ravine. Even from above, the water's presence contributed to the hush with its steady, whisper-like flow. Eventually, the staircase ended near a collection of stone dwellings built into the cliffside. A wooden sign indicated this was once a gathering place for artisans. The traveler stepped inside one open doorway, drawn by curiosity. Within, a wide, cavernous room sloped gently upward. Sparse remnants of furniture were scattered about, a wooden table with a missing leg, a few straw-seated chairs, and a low shelf that might have held tools. A faint, musty smell clung to the air, yet it was not unpleasant. It spoke of time and memory, of quiet work done by calloused hands in an era now cradled by the past. The traveler moved carefully through the cavern, pausing to study the walls with their curved nooks. Each nook might have held pottery or perhaps decorative icons back when the space was alive with conversation and the ring of chisels shaping stone. Now only the hush dwelled here, stirred gently by the flicker of lantern light. The atmosphere was comforting, like stepping into a peaceful memory that offered no demands, only acceptance. Exiting into another corridor, the traveler found a sliver of moonlight shining through a narrow gap. Squeezing through, they emerged onto a ledge that overlooked the ravine. The city's lights stretched out behind, while the moonlit gorge opened ahead, an expanse of rocky slopes and sparse vegetation. For a moment, the traveler stood between two worlds, the quiet warmth of the Sassi and the wild hush of nature's cradle. Both sang different verses of the same lullaby, a cosmic hush that invited reflection and repose. A sense of gentle awe filled the traveler's heart. Perhaps it was the stillness or the harmony of old stone with the endless night sky, or the knowledge that countless footsteps had traversed these paths through time. Matera offered a lesson in surrender, how to exist within the earth's curves and folds, how to find solace in ancient spaces, how to let the hush cradle every breath. The traveler placed a hand against the rock, feeling a mild warmth radiating from it, a testament to the day's sun that still lingered. After savoring that moment, the traveler turned back to the city. In the distance, a larger lantern glowed near an open courtyard, beckoning like a lighthouse in the calm sea of night. Guiding themselves by that light, the traveler navigated through another twisting path, noticing subtle differences in each section of the Sassi. Some doorways were more ornate, some steps steeper, and some archways etched with faint patterns. Every inch told a story, if one had the patience to listen. Eventually they reached the courtyard where the lantern shone. Its flame was housed in a tall, ornate iron frame that threw lacy shadows across the ground. A stone bench rested beside it. The traveler settled down there, letting a deep exhale slip free. Perhaps it was the final pause for the night, a place to gather reflections before the hush gently guided them into rest. In this courtyard, a vine-laden wall bore clusters of small, pale flowers whose petals opened to release a soft, sweet fragrance under the moon. The aroma mingled with the cool night air, creating a gentle swirl of perfumed breath around the courtyard. Overhead, a tapestry of stars shimmered, each point of light a silent witness to the city's enduring presence. The traveler felt a tranquil stillness growing within, a sense of being utterly at peace, enveloped by Matera's protective hush. From somewhere unseen, the gentle trill of a night bird drifted across the courtyard, a soft note of life woven into the lull of the hour. The traveler smiled at its sweetness, acknowledging that even here, in the depths of night's calm, the world remained quietly vibrant. Sensing the gentle tide of sleep approaching, the traveler let their eyelids lower, still perched on the stone bench. Thoughts began to slow, Drifting like feathers on a gentle stream, the hush deepened, and Matera, in its ancient wisdom, offered a silent lullaby through every stone and lantern glow. Slowly, like a soft curtain falling over the scene, the hush of night grows even deeper. The soft lights in the ancient caves fade into your memory as the traveler's steps become distant echoes. Breaths come longer now, each exhale releasing the last traces of tension. In this final, gentle stretch of the story, let the peace of Matera's softly glowing lanterns envelop your mind and cradle your heart. The images of winding staircases and moonlit courtyards can become a warm backdrop, drifting away in a comforting haze. With each slow blink, you can feel that soothing hush drawing closer, wrapping itself around you like a soft cloak. The centuries-old whispers in the stone fade into a gentle lull, and you sink deeper into the solace of the present moment. There is no need to hold on to any thought, no need to remember the path or the symbols on the walls. Let them all settle like dust motes, gently drifting to the ground. In the quiet of your own space, your breath is steady, your body serene. The hush of Matera resonates here, guiding you to a place where sleep beckons with soft, open arms. You are free to let your eyes close fully now, unburdened, drifting into the calm embrace of rest. Let the glow of lantern light soften in your mind until it's just a distant warmth. Soon, the echoes of ancient cave dwellings recede, replaced by the gentle pulse of your own slowing heartbeat. Let each lingering thought float away, carried off on a silent breeze. Sleep comes for you now, a peaceful invitation in the hush of night. There is only the gentle rhythm of your breath, the softness of the pillow, and the tender lull of a timeless city held in memory. Good night, dear traveler. Sleep well, and may the quiet glow of your dreams guide you ever deeper into rest.